When Charles Bronson cornered the last member of the gang, the man removed his mask. Bronson's world shook. The person standing before him was someone he never expected. "Why?" asked Bronson. The man replied with a bitter smile, "Because you forgot me." In northern Colorado, a small farmhouse was illuminated by the morning sun. Charles Bronson was chopping wood in his yard, 45 years old, with hard-lined face and strong hands. Each strike reflected years of experience. "Dad," called his 10-year-old son Tommy, "can I go horseback riding?" Bronson stopped chopping wood. He looked at his son. "Don't go near the river and be back before dark." "Okay, Dad." Tommy ran to the barn. This was the last time Bronson saw his son. When evening came, Tommy hadn't returned. Bronson grew worried. He mounted his horse and went searching. He found Tommy's horse by the river, but Tommy was gone. There were signs of struggle on the ground, multiple footprints. Bronson's heart tightened. "Tommy!" he shouted. His voice echoed in the valley. No answer. At midnight, he ran to the sheriff's office. Sheriff Williams was an old, experienced man. "My son is missing," said Bronson. "He's been kidnapped." The sheriff opened a file. "How long has it been?" 6 hours. "Do you have any enemies on the farm, debtors?" Bronson shook his head. "No problems with anyone. I'm just a farmer." But there was doubt in the sheriff's eyes. Bronson noticed this. "I'm going to find my son," said Bronson. "What if you can't find him?" Bronson's eyes darkened. "I'll find him, and whoever took him will regret it." Bronson woke up early the next morning. He abandoned his farm work. He had one goal: find his son. He examined the riverbank again, this time more carefully. He followed the footprints. The tracks headed toward town. In town, he started at the bar. He knew bartender Joe. "Joe," he said, "were there any strangers here last night?" Joe hesitated. "Why are you asking, Charles?" "My son is missing." Joe's face changed. Jesus, I'm sorry, Charles. Yes, 3 strangers came yesterday. They spent a lot of money, but they left early this morning." "What did they look like?" "One was tall, bearded. Another was young, blonde. The third one didn't show his face much. His hat covered his eyes." Bronson made mental notes. "Which way did they go?" "South, toward the border." Bronson thanked him. He had found his first clue. Bronson tracked for 3 days. Cold, systematic. He wasn't in a hurry. He couldn't afford to make mistakes. On the 3rd day, he saw smoke from an abandoned cabin. He approached. Voices came from inside. He crept closer. He looked through the window. There were 2 men, one tall and bearded, the other young and blonde. The men Joe had described. "Where's the kid?" They were talking. "With Charlie, safe place." "Good, let him stay there until the money comes." Bronson had heard enough. He entered through the door. Silently, he had drawn his gun. "Don't move," he said in a cold voice. The 2 men froze. The tall man tried to reach for his gun. Bronson warned, "Don't try it." "Who are you?" asked the blond young man. "I'm the father of the child you kidnapped." Both men's faces paled. "Where is my son?" "We don't know," said the bearded man. Bronson approached. His eyes were ice cold. "Wrong answer." 10 minutes later, he had learned everything. Tommy was with the 3rd man called Charlie, and Charlie was hiding across the border. Bronson turned the 2 men over to the sheriff. But they were just workers. The real leader was Charlie. "Where can I find Charlie?" he asked Sheriff Williams. The sheriff shuffled through files. "Charlie Murphy, known criminal, usually hides near the Mexican border." "Why did he take my son?" "I don't know, Charles." "Did he ask for money?" "No demand has come yet." This worried Bronson even more. If not for money, then why? He set off toward the border. His horse was strong, could cover a lot of distance, but the road was long and dangerous. On the second day, he found his trail in a small Mexican village. Local people said 3 strangers had passed through. One was a child. "Did the child look okay?" asked Bronson. He wasn't sick, but he seemed scared. Bronson's anger increased, but he controlled himself. He had to stay calm to save his son. On the third day, he found where Charlie was hiding, an old church among the mountains. As he approached, he felt something familiar. He had seen this place before, but where? When? As he approached the church, he remembered. As a child, his family had lived here. This was where he played with his brother Matthew, his brother who disappeared 25 years ago. Matthew, who ran away from the family and never returned. Charlie. Matthew. Bronson's heart raced. This couldn't be a coincidence. As he approached the church, he heard voices from inside. A familiar voice. "Tommy," said the voice, "you don't need to be afraid. I won't hurt you." Bronson's breath caught. This voice was Matthew's. Bronson quietly entered the church. Through the back door, he was shocked by what he saw. Tommy was sitting in the corner, scared but healthy, and next to him, Bronson's brother Matthew, after 25 years. Aged, hair grayed, but definitely Matthew. "Matthew?" whispered Bronson. Matthew turned. He froze when he saw his brother, Charles. The 2 brothers looked at each other for a long time. 25 years of longing, anger, reunion. "Why?" asked Bronson. "Why did you take my son?" Matthew gave a bitter smile. "Because you forgot me. I didn't forget you. I looked for you, but you ran away." "I didn't run, Charles. You drove me away." Bronson was surprised. "What do you mean? Do you remember that night after Dad died? You inherited the farm. What did you tell me?" Bronson tried to remember. That night was very chaotic. Dad had died. Charles was 18. Matthew was 16. "I told you that you could stay on the farm." "No, Charles. You told me this is my farm now. You can stay as a worker." Bronson's face changed. He remembered now. That night he was proud, angry. His father's death had changed him. "Matthew, I was young, I was angry, and I was hurt. My brother made me a worker. I felt like I didn't belong to the family." Matthew continued, 25 years, Charles. For 25 years, I hated you. Why didn't you come back? We could have talked." "I tried. I came to the farm twice. You were married, happy. You had a family. I thought you wouldn't want to see me." Bronson shook his head. "You were wrong. I always missed you. Then why didn't you look for me?" "I did look. For years I looked, but your trail was lost." The 2 brothers began to understand the truth. The problem between them was pride and misunderstanding. "But this doesn't justify taking my son," said Bronson. Matthew's eyes filled with tears. I just wanted to have a family. When I look at Tommy, I see myself. I see what a good father you are to him." "You can be a father too, Matthew." "It's too late, Charles. I've done too many things, committed crimes. It can't be fixed now." Bronson approached his brother. He called to Tommy. "Tommy, Dad is here. Are you okay?" "Dad!" Tommy ran and hugged his father. "Charlie didn't hurt me. We just talked." Bronson hugged his son. Then he turned to Matthew. "Matthew, come home. The farm is yours too. It always was." Matthew shook his head. "I can't, Charles. The sheriff is looking for me. It's too late." "Nothing is too late? Look what I did to you. I kidnapped your son." "But you didn't hurt him. I understand this. You just wanted to be family." Matthew cried. 25 years of tears poured out. "Charles, I'm so sorry." "Me too, Matthew. I'm sorry, too." The 2 brothers hugged. Tommy watched them. "Dad," said Tommy, "is Charlie my uncle?" Bronson smiled. "Yes, son, he's your Uncle Matthew." 3 years later, Matthew was released. He had changed. In prison, he had read books, learned carpentry. Bronson met him. "Welcome home, brother." Matthew's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, Charles. At the farm, they had prepared a new room for Matthew. Tommy had made a handmade sign for his uncle. Matthew Bronson, part of our family. When Matthew saw the sign, he cried, "Do I deserve this much beauty?" "Yes," said Bronson, "because you're my brother. You always were." When Bronson died, he left the farm to Matthew and Tommy, equal shares. In his will, he wrote, "This farm is for the Bronson family. Our blood bond is strong, but our forgiveness bond is stronger." Matthew continued to run the farm alone. Tommy had become an engineer in the city, but came every weekend. "Uncle," said Tommy one day, "will you tell me Dad's story? How he found you?" Matthew smiled. "That's a long story, Tommy. But the best part was the ending." "Why?" "Because in the last part, I was forgiven, and I came home." And Matthew told his brother's son how two brothers found each other: pride, anger, loneliness, but most importantly, family, love, and forgiveness.